consists in trying to decrease and, if even possible, get rid of any inventory. Why do companies want to get rid of inventories? Because inventories represent money which you are waiting for. When you have something in a warehouse, it is something that you haven't yet sold, so you haven't yet been paid. So I want you to understand that inventories create it's some cash that you are waiting for. Do you understand that sentence? Somehow you want to get rid of your inventories as soon as possible to get paid, because inventories represent money which is trapped in the activity cycle. Imagine it's quite simple for a company. First you buy the elements you need to create what you are going to sell. First you buy, then you manufacture, then you sell, then you get paid. It's as simple as that. So most companies get paid by their clients once they have already paid their suppliers. So you understand that for a company, the time lapse between the moment when they pay their suppliers and the moment when they get paid creates a financial need. So this financial need implies to find resources to finance it. So a company has to finance its assets, and a company has usually to finance its activity cycle. If it takes a very long time to manufacture, sell, and get paid, during all that time the company has to make a living. And so the cycle of activity has to be financed, and this expression has a name that maybe you have already heard. It's called the working capital. The working capital of a company is all the money which is trapped in the activity cycle, because you have inventories, because you have receivables. Do you know what receivables are? Mm-hmm. Yeah? It is something that you have sold but for which you haven't yet been paid. So you're waiting for the money. And there's a waiting. So you have two elements which create financial needs. The inventories, because you haven't sold. The receivables, because you haven't been paid. Fortunately, you have payables, which is the money you haven't yet paid. So when you look at the working capital equation, it's a very important concept. I'm going to develop a little bit. So the working capital of a company, that's the inventories, because that is, you incur some cost to manufacture those things, but you haven't yet sold them. So what you have spent to create those inventories is money that you're waiting for. You're also waiting for the receivables because you haven't been paid, but you owe money to people, and so your financial needs are decreased by the fact that you haven't yet cashed out some of the money that you owe because you have some payables. All that is called the working capital. And it has to be financed. And of course, the art of finance is very simple. Since money has a cost, if you decrease your needs, it's just better because you need less resources. So one way to balance a financial structure, there are two ways. Either you find a lot of resources, either you decrease your needs. Here we are talking about how can a company reduce its financial needs. It can reduce its financial needs by being paid earlier. It can also reduce its financial needs by minimizing or getting rid of the inventory. I want you to understand this idea. Companies have inventories because either they're unable to forecast exactly what the demand will be, or another reason why companies have inventory, it's because the clients don't want to wait and it takes too much time to manufacture. If you go to a shop and if you want to buy a clothes, but if they don't have your size, I'm not so sure that you are going to wait till they get the right size that you need. And since if you talk about clothes, they're manufactured very often in Asia, and it takes a very long time for being resupplied. So that's why people have inventories, because they don't want to lose sales, but this inventory has a cost. So it's because you need to finance those inventories. Or conversely, you manufacture very fast, and or you're very good at forecasting the demand. If you're super good at forecasting the demand, you don't need much inventories.